What's good, everybody on YouTube? This is your boy Akil McLeod, and I'm a full-time eBay and PoshMark seller. And in today's video, I want to go over some of the things to look out for when you're sourcing for used clothing to sell on eBay and on PoshMark. So if you guys are interested in these kind of videos, definitely smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, as you guys already know, I made a video in the past about some of the mistakes that I made since I became a full-time reseller. So if you guys didn't check that out, I'll throw it up in the cards and in the description as well. But in today's video, I want to make sure that you guys know some of the things to look out for when it comes to just picking up clothing when you're in these thrift stores or these yard sales or garage sales. And the thing what happened to me, well, it still happens now, but it doesn't happen as often, is that I would get so excited when I see something and I wouldn't inspect it properly. And when I get home, I would see a stain or I'd see a tear. And it might be something small that I noticed in the store, but I thought I could get rid of it or I could fix it. And once I get home and I throw it in the wash and I realize, you know, that stain just isn't coming out, then I'm pissed off because I wasted money and I wasted time. So hopefully the things that I share with you guys, you can apply to your next trip to the thrift, or maybe just when you're outsourcing for things at garage sales or estate sales. So the first thing to look out for is broken buttons. Something that I always end up finding when it comes to dress shirts is a broken button. Now, the thing about a broken button is that you can possibly fix it if the shirt has an extra button inside of it, but most of the time it doesn't. And especially if it's a very unique shirt that has special buttons, it's over. You can't do anything with it and it's basically junk. So next time you're shopping for dress shirts or just casual button-down shirts, make sure all of the buttons are there and they're not chipped and they're not broken. Another thing in terms of buttons is when you're shopping for blazers and sport coats. Now, some of those buttons on the cuff, like right against the sleeve, sometimes those buttons might be chipped and sometimes those buttons might even be broken or missing. So you might find the button on the inside of the jacket, and that could always be a saving grace, and you could just simply, you know, throw that button back on there. But most of the time it's not, just like with dress shirts. So you want to make sure when you're shopping for blazers or jackets that all of the buttons are on there and they're all the same buttons and they're not chipped or broken. Now, another thing to look out for when you're sourcing for used clothing to sell on eBay and on PoshMark is to check the collar, the cuffs, and to definitely make sure that you're checking the armpits for stains. Some of those stains, they get really yellow and they're really disgusting and you can't really get it out. And definitely make sure that if you're trying to sell anything on eBay, you're not selling a bunch of dirty and just gross shit. So make sure that you check for those type of stuff, because those stains are very hard to get rid of. And chances are you probably won't be able to get rid of that stain because that's why it was already donated in the first place. So just to save some time and to save some money, just pass on anything that may have some really bad stains on the collar, the cuffs, and the armpits. The next big thing that I always find are pants with holes in them. Now, sometimes there might be a small hole on the back pocket, sometimes there might be a hole on the inner pocket, and then sometimes it might just be a hole in the crotch. And that is the worst. That's something that you literally cannot fix. And that's honestly one of the reasons why I don't sell that much jeans on eBay and on PoshMark. Because of course I'm getting a lot of stuff from yard sales, garage sales, and thrift stores. And the reason why they end up there is because they had a hole and the original owner didn't want to fix it. They didn't want to, you know, waste that time. So definitely be on the lookout for holes in jeans and trousers, definitely in the pockets and in the crotch. Now, another thing to look out for, not only on clothes but on as bags as well, is broken zippers. Now for me, I don't know how to fix a broken zipper, and I've seen a ton of stuff that was dope leather bags or dope leather jacket, but the zipper was broken and I just had to leave it alone because I know I couldn't fix it. So if you see something with a broken zipper, definitely pass on it all the time, unless you're a tailor, a seamstress, or you have a connection to a tailor or seamstress that can fix those type of stuff for you at a cheap rate. So if I was you, I would definitely pass on any broken zippers or zippers that aren't fully functioning. Now, another thing that I pass on all of the time when it comes to buying used clothing is anytime an item has a missing size tag. Now, some people say if the size tag is missing, you can always just add the measurements and include it in the description. But for me, that always translates into a ton of returns. So instead of wasting my time and wasting my money, if it doesn't have a size tag, I just pass on it. Sometimes when it comes to other pieces like Lululemon, the size tag might actually be in the pocket, or it might just be on the insert of the shirt or the jacket. So definitely thoroughly inspect the item before you pick it up, because the size tag might be somewhere hidden. But like I said, if it's not somewhere on the collar where it usually is, I usually just pass on it because I don't want to waste my time or my money. Now this next one is huge, and it's something that I used to mess up on all of the time, and that's buying pants that's been previously hemmed or altered. Now anytime I see a pair of pants that has a hemline or maybe the stitching is a different color, I usually just pass on them because that usually means that they've been altered or hemmed, and because they've been altered, that means it's going to take a lot longer for it to sell because it's already been fitted to that other person, and I don't want to waste my time or my money. So anytime I see a pair of pants that's been hemmed, I usually just pass on those. Now this is something that I tend to see a lot on eBay and on PoshMark, and that's when sellers are selling fake stuff. Now a lot of times the seller might not even know the item was fake, and they might have gotten swindled themselves, so you can't really blame them. But anytime I see something that's a designer or it has a high chance of being a fake, I like to do my research first. I might run a few YouTube videos just to make sure that I know exactly what I'm getting myself into. And if I'm feeling nervous about the item and maybe it's a little too expensive, I'll just pass on it and just call it money saved, because the worst thing to do is to try to sell something fake, and then you can get flagged on eBay and on PoshMark and possibly even banned if you do it enough times. So if you see something that may be too good to be true, it usually is, so I just pass on it. Now here's another one that I originally wasn't gonna add to this list, but I think it's important because a lot of people might not think of it. But that's when it comes to buying things that's a great name. It might be a very popular name, it might even be designer, but the style itself is just outdated or it's just whack, and you still pick it up because the name is good. And this is something that I do all the time, and I'm trying not to do it, but it's hard because when you see something that's a great name and it's a very popular brand, you might just want to have it in your store. But trust me, there's been so many times that I've picked up an item and the style was terrible and it just wasn't on trend anymore. But even though the brand was good, I still picked it up, and I might still have it for maybe 6, maybe 8 months. And as you guys know, I like to buy stuff low and sell it fast. And that's the complete opposite when it comes to buying stuff that's out of style or it's just not trending. Now that's one thing I can suggest to you guys. If the brand name is really good and it's trending, but the style is just terrible and it's just tacky, just pass on it, because you're gonna end up wasting your money and wasting your time. Alright y'all, that's all I have for today's video. So if you enjoyed that one, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Also, if there was anything that I forgot from this list, definitely drop that in the comment section below so we could keep the conversation going and we could just spread the knowledge to help more sellers be successful on eBay and on PoshMark. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.